1, 2. We're on now. Okay, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Kind of thankful that we got a little bit of warmer weather than what we've had. But I'll turn it over to the county administrator for the call to order and roll call.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome, everyone, to the Russell County Board of Supervisors, February the 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Russell County Government Center. I'd like to first start off with roll call. Andrew Hensley.
Here.
Lou Ann Wallace.
Here.
Tara Dye.
Here.
Steve Breeding.
Here.
Rebecca Dye.
Here.
Nate Kaiser. He should be here. And David Eaton.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. First, we'll have our invocation and pledge of allegiance if everybody would stand.
Let us pray. Father God, Lord, we love you, we thank you, we praise you for this day, Father. Father, we ask that you be with us, lead us, guide us, and direct us in everything that we do. And Lord, we thank you for allowing us to be a part of our local government. And Father, we thank you for this warmer weather that we have gotten today. We thank you for allowing us to make it through this cold stretch with very minimal damage and all of that, Father. So we thank you, we praise you, and we ask that you lead, guide, and direct us in everything that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think we have some amendments to the agenda.
You do, Mr. Chairman. I've got 4 items that need to be added on here. Under the county attorney's reports and requests, item number 5 will be House Bill 1374 resolution, and item number 6 will be House Bill 1377 resolution. Okay, now we jump to the county administrator reports and requests. Item number 8 will be CSA Facilities Children's Program, and number 9 will be the Animal Care and Adoption Center with a veterinary school and large animal facilities. To discuss that is number 9. Other than that, I don't have anything
We got
else.
one more thing. Ms. Tara here needs to add her appointment for the Tourism Committee
Tourism Committee.
under
Item number 3.
item number
Number
3,
three.
please.
Okay. I'll make it a motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We got a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. Okay, we have presentations, and we'd like to welcome Dr. Clint Hayes, the new president of Southwest Virginia Community College. Please come up, Dr. Hayes, and welcome.
Thank y'all very much for giving me a few minutes to talk to you. I'm trying to go around and just meet the leadership for all the counties that we serve at Southwest Virginia Community College, and tell you a little bit about me if you don't know a little bit about me, and also just kind of a little bit about the vision and where we're headed with Southwest, if that's okay with y'all. So I'm Clint Hayes. I am from Pine Knot, Kentucky. It's about as rural as this area, which is beautiful, just like this place. And in fact, when I came over here the first time, that's the first thing I thought was, man, this is home. You know, it's just like where I'm from. So absolutely beautiful place. And I will say I'm a proud resident of Russell County and have been for a month today. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. But
No pressure on that.
no. But you know, this is a great place. Southwest Virginia is a great place. Southwest Virginia Community College does incredible things for this area, and we're going to continue to do that. And for me, it's really about getting to know the counties that we serve. What do you need from us? What do we need to be for you? How can we help? What can we do to help support, you know, socioeconomic growth and anything else that we can do? Understand the communities better, you know, so I want to spend some time learning about that. I've been on the job 7 months, so I am starting to learn a little bit about the area now. I know when I first talked with some of y'all in here, the first time I met you, I'd only been here a couple of months, so I was still trying to figure out how to be a Virginian at that point. I still am. But, and I realize it's changing a lot, you know, lots of governmental change and things like that, and we're very, we're very cognizant at the college about that and trying to keep up with what's going on the state level as well. I spend, unfortunately, a lot of time in Richmond. I said unfortunately because I'd rather be here doing what I need to do. But at the same time, it's valuable for me to be there and understand what's happening, from a state perspective. So I am doing a lot of that as well. But for me, again, it's about learning what we need to do. So how do we better support business and industry in the communities that we serve? What do we need to do? Do we need to grow the existing programs? Do we need to change some of that? Do we need to add things? Do we need to take things away? And we're working on a lot of that at the college. One of the big things that we're doing right now is just trying to make sure that we fully understand the data. We have a better grasp of what's going on in those communities. And also, for me, it's about building relationships. I always tell folks that, the number one job that I have is to build those relationships and maintain those relationships. So it's about getting out there and learning what I can do to better support you all. So that's really why I'm here. And it's also about stewardship, making sure that what we're doing at the college is sustainable. And it means that the college is going to be here for a very long time, doing the right things for the communities that we support. So you've seen changes that have already happened. We've closed athletics. That's one of the biggest changes probably that you've seen so far with the college. But that's not just because we wanted to close athletics. It's because we want to grow in the areas that support what's going on in the communities that we serve. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we have the funding to do that. So the redistribution of the funding is important for me to make sure that we're meeting those needs. So we're working on those things. Again, I've learned here, at least at the college, we have an incredible bunch of folks there doing some really good things. Lots of good faculty members. The staff are incredible, and our students are fantastic. And the weather's beat us down a little bit, coming in. And I did not understand what the weather was going to be like here. I thought it would be very similar to what was in southeastern Kentucky, but I was a little bit wrong about that. I'm learning very quickly that the mountains are a little different. And let me say this, these are mountains. I come from the hills. I thought I lived in the mountains, but I didn't. I'm learning that I do. Yeah, I'm living in the mountains now. But that's it. I mean, I'm happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be part of this community. The college is strong, and we're going to get stronger, and we're going to continue to grow in the direction that we believe is the right direction to support what we need to in the communities that we serve. Any questions or anything for me?
Well, I just want to thank you. I want to also thank you. I'll speak for Miss Rebecca Dye. She had some concerns about communication because of the lack of in her district, and you was able to work with our emergency management team and our sheriff's office to help us to place a repeater up there to expand that service. And I'm sure Miss Rebecca will be thrilled with that because that'll give us the redundancy we need with the other forms of technology that we're looking at going through. That'll help tremendously. And I'm so grateful that you was able to work with us.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to accommodate that, and obviously anything that we can do to try to help, we're happy to do that. And you mentioned communication. That's something I think is really extremely important, that we are doing a better job letting you guys know what we're doing, why we're doing the things that we're doing, getting out there with the community to help with that. And I'm trying to do that. And my folks are doing a pretty good job of that too. The VPs and all those folks are trying to do a much better job communicating broadly what we're doing at the college. So hopefully you'll see a change moving in the right direction there. And any concerns, issues, or anything that you guys have, please feel free to reach out to me. We'll address them the best that we can. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. Approval of the minutes. Consider approval of the minutes of the following meeting of the Russell County Board of Supervisors and the unapproved minutes of January the 5th, 2026. If everybody's had a chance to look those over, I'll need a
I
motion.
did, and I'll offer a motion to approve the minutes as presented unless somebody has something that's in there that I didn't see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second that motion.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much. Okay, now we'll move on to the approval of expenditures. Consider approval of expenditures presented for payment to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion, we approve the payments as presented.
Okay, have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll offer a second, but I want to ask a question. Are we still on target with our budget, Mr. Lester?
I'll go into that later. No, just.
I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, any other, Ms. Wallace? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. Okay, now we'll move on down to committee appointments for board consideration. And one, we have Cumberland Plateau Economic Development Board, Mr. Coach Hubbard.
I will nominate Doug Hubbard for this position.
Thank you. Any other nominations?
I'll move to close nominations and elect Doug Hubbard by acclamation.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much. And now, I'll go ahead and, Ms. Tara, if you want to go ahead.
Okay, for the Tourism Committee, I'd like to put Lee Brown on there.
Thank you, ma'am. And that is your pick, so I'll offer a second. Don't need a second?
Don't need a second.
Acclamation? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we elect Lee Brown by acclamation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much. Lee will do a great job. Okay, now we'll move on down again to the Finney Community Center Committee.
Mr. Chair, I would like to put that off to next month. I haven't had a chance to speak with them yet. I'm sure they'll be fine to do it, but I like to just touch base.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
That'll be all right. Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. That'll be fine. Yeah, it's good if we can communicate with these people to make sure they want to do that, and I'm sure it's been pretty tough on everybody with everything going on, but thank you. We'll put that off to next month. Okay, now I'll need the citizens' comment period. Do I have any? RD? Okay, Mr. says RC Cola. Come on up. Come on up, sir.
A second. How is everybody?
Good, RD.
Wonderful.
How are you doing, RD?
A couple of things. I think maybe you are looking at a data center. I think we need, if that's the case, we need to go real careful with those. As you all know, they tremendous electricity users, and I have some concern about that. Also, there's a severe noise factor with those, and my understanding is from doing some research, they will actually can make livestock just kind of go crazy from this constant hum that they have. And a lot of places, Northern Virginia, some other places are rejecting these, as you all probably know. So I would encourage you to let's go slow if you're going to talk about that, or have you thinking about that. And I think it needs to be somewhere way off the road, where there's probably a strip mine or something where there's no livestock or people anywhere close. Put you a 2-mile road to it or something, and I think that it might be workable, but I don't think we want to inject it into the county in terms of the population and being near people. So I hope you all will look at that. I think it's critically important. You're doing a good job trying to bring some other stuff in, and we don't want to bring counter stuff where people say, well, why would they bring that in and put that against people where they can be aggravated with it? So we're working on housing, and I think we ought to work on things that complement that. So I hope that you'll take that into account. The other thing on the Project Powder, I don't really know what it is. I hear that maybe it's a welding company coming in. That'd be great. I also have had some people ask me about it, if it could possibly be Barite, B-A-R-I-T-E powder that you find in coal seams, and I don't know. So I just throw that out there. There's some talk about it, some concern, so I'm just trying to ease some people's concerns. But that's really all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll move on. Constitutional officer reports and requests.
Bill Watson.
Sheriff Watson.
Good evening. Give you a list of some things we're doing. You know, we kind of got hacked on our CAD system, which we lost a lot of stuff, and had to buy a new server and go through all that. So a lot of the stuff was lost. However, I would like me and Brian had talked about doing a better breakdown of how many traffic summonses were issued, how many DUI arrests, drunken publics, and go all the way down the list. One of the things here on the school resource things, this is kind of proof that school resource officers work in our schools. Their presence has brought these numbers so far down to 674. Now, that doesn't reflect what they do every day of helping, you know, the school system with things, the vape pens and things of that nature. These are actually just officer calls for service on things. So that is really low, which is a testament to our school resource officers, you know, in our school system. So I'm hoping that the state will re-up the grants for our school resource officers this year. You know, I'm a little bit worried about it, but it's something we can't do without. I fought hard to get, and we've got them in every school, and I want to keep them in every school. And that shows that that is working. Do you have any questions on any of the statistics I've showed you so far?
The only thing I want to say is I want to commend you and your team and our emergency management crew. We ended up not going to Richmond. I called it off because we had so many calls with people with heat out and all that. And I just want to thank you personally. I know I've aggravated you to death or called you hundreds of times, but listen, there's not a time I've called that you haven't answered.
Oh, yeah.
And been Johnny on the spot, whatever you could do, and having a deputy out there. Even through the bad weather, you had a pretty big arrest and seizure. I talked to both of you guys on that and was able to, 4 vehicles stolen, one out of Washington County, and y'all was out in bad weather and snow and everything like that, and apprehended
It was
those.
tough.
But the delivery of water and I want to thank our first responders, our rescue squad, our fire departments, and everything that opened up their facilities in case we needed them. You had access as the sheriff's office to do placement. The one lady I took the heater to, the next day she fell and broke her back and hip.
Oh, wow.
And that was bad situation. But other than that, I just want to commend you guys for that. I mean, we had some icy areas and people's water froze, and I know we couldn't do anything about that, but they were calling, wanting to know if I could come and thaw their water.
Yeah.
I said, well, I don't know, that's a little bit above what my skill level is, but I will try to get a heater out or try to get something to you in case we do. But I'm sure all the board members are, you know, truly grateful. I know Tara, we was just talking about you guys taking water to.
I wanted to thank you all for that, and
You
thank you, Lonzo, for helping that, but.
You can thank Lieutenant Bush back there. He was the
Thank
one that made
you
the
so
trek to
much.
Sandy Ridge.
I really, really appreciate that. They needed that, and it was just such a bad
Yeah.
situation, you know,
It
and
was.
I knew I couldn't get to him, but thank you.
You know, that was really the only call we really had to provide anything to. You know, God blessed us and kept the power on, and we didn't get the ice like Washington County had. We're dealing with a lot of snow, and, you know, we had the vehicle stolen on Saturday, the 8-hour reign of terror that he put on us, but in a foot of snow, but we prevailed and got him in handcuffs, and he's at the regional jail now, so. Yeah, well, he found one.
Yeah, I called Bill right after he had been running, and then we had to go into emergency operations, and I was having him deliver water. But Sheriff Watson and Brian, on this, we see these, I get to see these numbers all the time. Dispatch does over 63,000 calls a year. The courthouse sees over 42,000 people. Can y'all put these statistics out to where the general public can see what's happening in the community if you don't care?
We plan on
If you
putting it
don't-
out
if you
after the
don't-
meeting.
If you don't care to look to see what kind of movements and operations are just on a daily basis,
Yeah.
annual basis, that we do these. The numbers are astronomical.
It's a lot of
Thank
people. Yeah, and we're planning on putting it out. We wanted to meet and bring this to you all first before we did anything, so this was our starting point, and then we're going to
Yep, thank you.
make it public.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you so much. All right, any other constitutional officers report? County attorney report and request?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first thing I have is the transfer of the county property to the IDA for Project Powder. So that deed has been written up. We're on track with it. I think the last step we have is to really give official notice, in the legal term of legal notice, or as far as notice goes, to Star Ministries to make sure that property is ready to be transferred. So the second thing I have on the county attorney reports is the forensic audit. Committee has met, did some interviews with each of the bids. The one that the committee has settled on and would recommend to the board is UHY. It's a firm out of, I believe it was Baltimore. Mr. Lester can correct me if I'm wrong there. But there's kind of the price price breakdown that they've given us so far. It'd be in the ballpark of $217,000. So the motion I would need from the board is to enter into the contract phase with UHY to conduct the countywide forensic audit.
I have a question if you don't care, Tyler. Does this include their per diem, food, transportation, lodging,
I believe this would just be work
just
hours.
their skill set?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And their
So-
estimate of how many hours it would take them to do
So
it
it
with their
could be,
billable rate.
it will be above and beyond this price? then?
Likely so.
Okay.
I guess I need to, since I'm the only member of the forensic team here. Well, I know, and, this is a price actually that was a lot less than what I anticipated seeing, but I tell you, I don't know, we've yet to identify how we're going to pay for this. And I think there are certain things that we need to just hold on off on this for a little while. I know we're having some issues with the CSA, and we're looking at a substantial amount of money. I think Mr. Lester will address that a little later, that we're going to have to come up with in this year's budget. I honestly don't see any way to include it in this year's budget, and we may have to look at, trying to move it into next year's budget if it's something we want to do. So, I guess what I would suggest is that we just table it until next month, and maybe we'll know some more about the CSA and whatever. And-
Mr. Chair, I don't mean to step on you, Mr.
No,
Breeding,
no, you
so
go
I
right ahead.
apologize. One of my observations was when the motion was made to move forward with this, there was nothing put in the budget to cover any kind of expense. Am I mistaken on that?
You are not.
Well, it was, the taxes were raised for it, but, with this audit, one thing I do want to point out is that, it's not just investigative, but it's also, it'll protect the county against different things. You can look at it as like, how would I put this? Where it said here, the audit shall include recommendations on revenue enhancement, that could help us spend our money more wisely, like an efficiency type thing. So I do think that it has, it could end up saving us some money, is what I'm saying.
Mr. Chair, if I may, does our auditors not make those recommendations already?
As an internal auditor from our annual auditor, the county auditor, Farmers Robinson Cox, they do an audit of what they look for is accountability, fraud, waste, and abuse. That's their requirement per their contract. They have to look at that. See, what you got to understand, there's two types of audit. One's a forensic audit, one is an operational audit. See, what Ms. Dye is referring to is type of an operational audit. It reviews whether, can this be done more efficiently? Can we do with 5 employees versus 6? Can this department, reduce expenditures that way? So based off of what the terms and conditions that we put into the audit, they would look at both those components. But right now, and what I'm getting ready to show y'all, some of the terms and conditions that were put into it. First one was the Dane Fire Department. That was one of the terms and conditions. Well, that's been decided by the judicial ruling by a circuit court judge. So no matter what was found out, you can't override a circuit court judge's orders. So there's one thing that's going to roll off the table. The other thing was the PSA component. Well, from that, since then, all the documentations has been turned over to the Virginia State Police. So that has already been, every dollar has been accounted for. We're just waiting on reports back from the Virginia State Police as the PSA. He's here today. So those have all been turned over for and accounted for. So what you will go into is a forensic/operational audit review. And the way we did this, during that, we had the contractor go down and say, okay, how many hours are you going to dedicate to Russell County? As you can see, 500 hours to the public PSA, which is what we're dealing with. He had 50 hours for the IDA, and 400 hours for the schools. So we tried to break it down even farther, just trying to lump it into one county-wide audit to give the board the opportunity to take a look at what they wanted to look at. So if the PSA has already been looked at by the state police, if the Dane Fire Department's already being ruled on by a circuit court judge. So, you're kind of knocking the things out that we're already going to do or do a review. What will happen if you walk in on the PSA, the auditors, which we've discussed during the audit committee, only thing we're going to do is push the paperwork that we have compiled over to the auditor. So he's going to take the exact same documents that we've turned over to the state police, right straight to from the PSA to the auditor, and he will review what the PSA has already compiled. So, of course, the same way with the Dane Fire Department. I will push the documents from the circuit court orders, and it's a lot of documentation. Me and Tyler was looking at it last Thursday. You're talking over 120 pages just from review, from the temporary order to the permanent order to the injunctions to the judicial dissolution, keyword judicial dissolution of the Dane Fire Department by the circuit court judge. So everything has been turned over to us, not only the equipment, but the finances, the name, everything is under the Russell County Board of Supervisors now, completely, judicially. Court-ordered. So those two components. So
So
with
would you
that
just take those
information
two
in mind,
out? Is that what you're saying?
well, you need to look at, when you look at it, we tried to divide it down between the PSA. If you're going to look at the PSA,
Right, I understand what you're saying, but my question being is, would that just be something that you would take out and they wouldn't audit? Is that what you're trying?
Yeah. If
So-
you need to narrow
So that
it
may
down,
even bring the price down more?
yeah, if you narrow it down, yes, that's what I'm pointing out to. That's why we divided it out between the county, the PSA, the IDA, and then the schools.
So
But
my
as
next-
far as we could go to the division of it.
Okay.
That brings me to another question. So if you are, I'm going to say cherry picking, which is not correct, okay? But if you're pulling things out, does that mean you have to go back for another RFP or RFQ?
No,
So
no.
this is okay?
Yes, these components were devised into the bid, which is part of the agreement down below. This one right here, that gives the opportunity for the Board of Supervisors, the governing board, to choose what item they want to review from a forensic/operational review. Instead of having it all-inclusive, this, none or all. So that gives you even more of an opportunity.
Yeah,
So-
and if we entered into the contract negotiation phase, the county with UHY could pick out what exactly that scope is for the forensic audit. So it wouldn't necessarily be nailed in for what their quote is here. This gives us a ballpark and showing which firm to decide on. But in negotiating that contract, that's where the scope would be finalized, where the ultimate agreement would be on, what's being audited and what's not. Yep.
Well, I'm just going to make a recommendation. I think that the committee needs to review that again to see, what they want to do. And also, I would like for Andrew and Steve, where they're on the budget committee, since they're going to be starting on the budget, to look at this, because as you go through the list here, which I'm well aware of, we're going to have some impending expenses. One, a CSA, we're looking at around $200,000. And I was on the phone, we were on the phone today with one of the senators, Senator Pillion, in regards to maybe coming up with a different ideal concept to be able to maybe use our drug abatement money to put in what I would consider an orphanage, regional orphanage, to try to keep these kids here locally. Because it's not just Russell County, but it's the surrounding counties that are being impacted. And we went from, $200,000 or $300,000, it jumped to $700,000. Now it's going to be close to $1 million
Yeah. $1 million.
in expense.
That's on the county side.
Over budget right now.
Yeah, we're $250,000 over.
Being at the end of the
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to take
Is
all
that
this under
number-
consideration.
Y'all might not know, does that number count the travel? I mean, I know they're flying
I'll tell you what,
and
isn't it-
driving and,
What's
No.
making that number so big is that we do have in-home residential, we have, I think, Lonzo, at that meeting, we have 4 different ones, and they cost up to $13,000 a month. You're looking about average $600 a day, right, Lonzo?
Yeah.
That's what we were
And
talking about.
We got one that's $20,000 a month. We got
Yeah.
one that's $15,000.
We got one
One's
county
13.
that's got one child, it's $100,000 a month.
That's what we heard from Central Pillion today.
And the
So-
thing about it is,
$1,000 a month.
I keep preaching this, the unknowns,
$1,000
the
a
things
month.
you don't know that you're going to get bit with down the road, and you don't prepare for these things. You can't really prepare because you don't really know.
Well, in the CSA numbers, you can't know, can
No,
you?
you
I mean, and honestly, you have to take care of these kids, and it's nothing that we're doing at DSS to blow the budget. These are things that it's just kind of, put on you that you have to deal with, that you can't foresee coming. And like I said, the bulk of that is from these 4 homes. I mean, we met, last week about it, and you just can't control it.
And you don't know, and you can't anticipate if you're going to get more than 4.
And the thing about it is, you don't get elected whether you pay it or not. These under the Code of Virginia are mandatory services. Mandatory services. And you don't get to decide whether that child goes or not. They are put in. And I'll go
If they're
into that
deemed
into
for
the
it, they
CS.
go.
Yeah, you will pay.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I thought we were discussing
I
the
understand.
forensic audit, so.
I didn't mean to get off.
Well, it's got a lot to do with that. I mean, as far as being able to afford it. So I just wanted to throw it out.
Understood, and I appreciate that, but do we have a motion on the floor to table this thing?
I will make that motion that we need to table it until we have a better handle on this year's numbers.
I'll give you a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
The next thing on the county attorney's reports is the Second Amendment and Virginia constitutional overreach nullification resolution. So, of course, the Board of Supervisors did a similar resolution in 2020 when the first wave of gun control proposals came through. This would essentially just reaffirm that resolution. So each of you have copies, hard copies in your packets. My apologies, it was not in on time to make it into the digital copy. But you have hard copies there in front of you. So it breaks down, first paragraph, you have Section 6A of Article 2 of the Constitution of Virginia. So that's the independent commission that was formed in 2020, the last time the Constitution of Virginia was amended for redrawing the election districts. So in the 2020 election, when it was put on referendum, every locality except for, I believe it's Alexandria City or Arlington City, every locality but one in the Commonwealth of Virginia voted to pass that amendment. And it created an independent commission to redraw these congressional districts, the House of Delegate districts, the state Senate districts. But now we see legislation coming through in Richmond where the Democrats are wanting to push through a new constitutional amendment to give them the unilateral authority, whoever the majority party is, to redraw those districts themselves. So where it's kind of standing right now is it's passed both the House of Delegates and the state Senate. The governor signed it. Obviously, there's been an injunction, I'm sure you're aware, out of the Tazewell Circuit Court stopping that. It's currently on appeal to the Virginia Supreme Court. The registrar's office all around the state has been instructed by the Department of Elections to be prepared for an April 21st special election, just in case the Virginia Supreme Court were to overturn the injunction. So at that point, that the vote for that constitutional amendment would go forward on the April 21st special election. So I think I've digressed there some, but basically what this outlines, I'm sorry, I think I've crossed up a little bit, but this is dealing with, yes, well, I think I might have got backwards here a little bit, Lonzo. So
Which 3 and 4, that's all right.
Yep, that's right.
We
Yep.
forgive you.
I had it.
No,
Yep, I had it backwards. Yep. So, if I may discuss the gun resolution, yes. So the legislation we're seeing come out of Richmond, dealing with stopping the sale or the possession, any sort of transfer of ownership of firearms, specifically rifles and shotguns, and magazines up to, I believe it's 8 or 10 in a capacity. So, like I said a few moments ago, the county did a similar resolution in 2020. The first time this came down the pike, this would just be to reaffirm that resolution. So it's essentially need just a motion from the board to call that to a vote to approve that resolution.
And I hate Larry's not here, and the conversations I've had with the NRA and different proponents that is fighting this, they're going after our hunting dogs, and they're going after our guns and all of our freedoms. So I would encourage the board to vote for this, both of these, and then let's send a letter out to Richmond in opposition of what's going on. So the first one, I guess, is the 2A resolution, reaffirm it.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
You got a second? Thank you both.
Just, Tyler, if you can, explain to the public what this resolution does. My understanding is basically Russell County taxpayer money is not going to fund these laws. If they are passed and enacted, taxpayer money in Russell County ain't going to go to enacting these laws against the public, correct?
In theory, yes, this would be the Board of Supervisors' way of saying that, our wish is to not enforce any of those laws. I mean, of course, if they're passed through, they're the laws of Virginia, they are what they are. But this is the board's step back, or step forward, I guess you could say, of saying we're not supporting any such legislation that, could potentially come through Richmond.
'Cause I've had a couple of people mention like, oh, well, that don't matter. And I'm like, well, it kind of does, because we pay for all this stuff, the taxpayer does. And if we say we're not going to pay for that, then the law can't be enforced unless, I guess, it's a state trooper or somebody outside of our county.
Yep, that would be correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Andrew. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much. And now the next one, I guess, Tyler, is
Yes. So the next one would be the election and precinct ordinance. We've had a public hearing on this. We started to do this before the last general election. Of course, ran into a time crunch there. So I've met with.
Hold on just real quick. Did we get a motion on, so we switched 2 and 3? Yeah, the overreach nullification? Or we did that one. What about is that the only one? We didn't do the VCON. Do you need 2 separate motions?
No, that'll be one and the same.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. Sorry for interrupting you. Sorry.
Yep. Nope,
Go
you're
right
good.
ahead, sir.
Nope, sorry, I think I've confused everybody there, so my apologies. So this one deals with the precincts throughout the county. So there's 3 in question in this. This is the same ordinance that's already in place. It just makes those 3 changes. So the first one, it moves the Swords Creek voting location to the Swords Creek Community Center instead of the former Swords Creek School. That would be right where you turn up Pine Creek out of Swords Creek. The second one is to change the Cleveland voting location to Cleveland Fire Department. And the final one, and perhaps the most intricate, would be with the Copper Creek precinct. So I've met with the registrar, Diana Shorter. There's not really another good place in Copper Creek that could be a primary polling location outside of Copper Creek School. So in looking at that, she and I met and we've come up with this proposal. It would be to dissolve the Copper Creek precinct. And the new boundary would be what you see highlighted in pink, and the numbers are broke down over on the side on the right. So the boundary would now be Highway 71 all the way from the Scott County line until it merges with Highway 58. And then Highway 58 there in between the 2 Highway 71s in Dickinsonville would be the break, and then 71 on up to Lebanon. And then you see where the district would end on the northeast portion of, the green area there. That's a power line that's already been the boundary, so nothing would change there. But it essentially dissolves the Copper Creek precinct, splits the people evenly, and it's crazy how that worked out, but almost evenly, very small margin of difference, I think about 40 people, between the South Castlewood precinct and the Moccasin precinct. So only thing we would need is a motion from the board to approve that amended ordinance.
I will make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.
I'll oppose it.
Okay.
And the next resolution, these 2 were added on at the beginning of the meeting. So almost essentially deals with the same thing. So the first resolution would be dealing with current House Bill 1374. And what House Bill 1374 has been proposed to do is to dissolve the Board of Visitors at Virginia Military Institute. If that bill got passed, signed into law, the Board of Visitors at VMI would be dissolved, and direction and I think you could say ownership of VMI would then be transferred to Virginia State University. This has been proposed by Delegate Fegans out of Virginia Beach. This is simply just a resolution opposing House Bill 1374, outlining the county's objection to it, and would be forwarded to the Southwest delegation to be presented in Richmond. So in order to sign that resolution, we just need a motion by the board.
Let's go ahead and talk about 1377 as well.
Yeah. So the other resolution deals with House Bill 1377. It also deals with Virginia Military Institute. This bill would be to create a task force to look into the efficacy of VMI. That task force would investigate how efficient, what the graduation rates are, what the military effect is of VMI. They would have a report come due in November of this year, and then would turn that report in to the General Assembly, and presumably the General Assembly would take further action come next General Assembly session in 2027. So these bills kind of work one and the same. Essentially, both are looking to, either get rid of VMI entirely or at least transfer control over to Virginia State University. So would need, just for simplicity's sake, a separate motion on each of those.
I'll make being a VMI graduate, I want to make a motion on House Bill 1374 that we oppose that resolution.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.
On House Bill 1377, I would like to make a motion that we approve this resolution to oppose that House bill.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
And the final thing I would have, and this would, I believe, would be mostly to cover bases here, would be the other resolution dealing with constitutional overreach that I discussed, when I got off topic there a while ago, dealing with the redistricting of the Virginia congressional House delegate districts, state Senate districts. So, as I explained a while ago, there's already a process in place for an independent commission to redraw those lines. However, now the majority party in Richmond wants to change that and unilaterally decide what those boundaries are. The proposed maps that have been drawn up dealing with that would give the in-power party a 10-to-1 advantage on the congressional seats. Currently, it's split 6-5 in their favor, which is by design. That's the way it should be, the way it's supposed to be constitutionally speaking. But now they would be wanting to go to a 10-to-1 split. So this resolution would be the same as the previous couple resolutions, would be sent to the Southwest delegation to be presented in Richmond as the county's opposition and objection to that gerrymandering amendment.
I'll make a motion, we approve this resolution as well to oppose that constitutional
Second.
amendment.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that would conclude my reports.
Thank you so much, Tyler. County Administrator reports and requests.
Thank you, Chairman. The first on the county administrator reports is the first responder dinner that we had on January the 10th. It was a good success. This is our first one that we've had. I think everybody enjoyed themselves, the first responders that came, and we really appreciate this, and we appreciate our first responders. They were there to give them a break. Of course, they had to wear their beepers and pagers in case they got called. They brought their family members, and one of the things that we did, the ones that didn't get to see it, I'd like to kind of show this right here so the general public can see what our first responders do.
It was a dark and stormy night, nor'easter rolling in. It's a long 12 hours, the power's out again. I pray for inner strength and that we don't lose no lives. Just another day in the first responders' eyes. Half a cup of coffee's gone, the first run comes in. A car slid off the road, there's a family trapped within. My heart beats like a hammer, I can barely catch my breath. I'm thinking the worst and hoping for the best. Yeah, we ain't superheroes, we're just ordinary people trying to make a difference, and the first on every scene. It's a heavy, heavy burden to carry all this burden when you can't unsee the things you've seen. It keeps going on. When those sirens are gone. Now my shift is finally over, I gotta deal with what's mine, and try to find a way to leave those tragedies behind. So I hug my 2 children, I kiss on my wife. Just another day, the first responder's life. Yeah, we ain't superheroes, we're just ordinary people trying to make a difference, and the first on every scene. It's a heavy, heavy burden to carry all this burden when you can't unsee the things you superheroes. We're just ordinary people trying to make a difference, and the first on every scene. And it's a heavy, heavy burden to carry all this hurting when you can't unsee the things you've seen. It keeps going on. When those sirens are gone, it keeps going on. When those sirens are gone.
I wanted everyone to see this. And again, all first responders, from the Russell County Board of Supervisors, from Russell County citizens, thank you. I thanked Alonzo the night of the event, but I want to thank Rhonda too. I got by and you was talking and I just ended up going on, but appreciate all that y'all done to make that happen, and I think everybody had a good time and appreciated the meal and the recognition.
They did. Again, thank you. Next on the county administrator reports is the VACO preliminary legislative program. I gave y'all in your packet what the VACO had done, but as you can see, the new administration has literally tore that all to pieces. So, I mean, I don't know what other way to put it, but you can look at it, but you better look at what's coming through, down that's changed. So, because there's nothing that started that began. So she has changed the previous administration completely. Of course, next on the county administrator reports is the 2026 VACO Local Government Day. As Mr. Eden had said, due to emergency conditions, we weren't able to attend. We felt that it was more important to be with the county during this time. I'm not being facetious, but we don't know what kind of reception we received from Southwest Virginia either, but it would have been an awkward meeting. So, but we are still working on what needs to be done, like the CSA programs, the regional jail, our first responders, our fire departments. We're still working on those. We still have been. Actually, we have, even into today, right before the meeting, we were on the phones with Senator Pillion discussing these very issues. So we will continue as we do. Next, as in the county administrator reports, is the Russell County Road Reporting System. It gives the board an opportunity to take a look at those in your areas. Of course, the next one is the VDOT Monthly Road Report. There is no points of action. We've got a meeting with Ms. Tara Dye, and Mr. Hensley with VDOT next week, and we're looking into some things that for the recreational access funds. They're working really hard on that for the Cleveland area. We're trying to look at, see what is available on a couple more, plus Mr. Hensley's looking at things for the 6-year plan to be able to add to it, to see what we can work through VDOT. But again, with the new administration, it's going to be difficult, but they're pushing on everything. So this looks very, we have opportunities here for, especially in Ms. Dye's territory, and it's a big grant. It's a 100% grant that she's working on with VDOT right now. So we've got that meeting next week, and we'll give a board a follow-up report on it. Next is the county administrator PSA and project reports. Of course, the PSA's here in the county. One that's not into the report, we had during this time also, we had a major leak at the old courthouse. We had a major water leak. They hit the records, the historical record departments within the old courthouse. We were able to save them. We brought in our staff, community workers. We cleaned it up. The sheriff's department clerks, I think everybody from the judge down was helping carry boxes. we all worked together to got this. We had to call in people, contractors from the Virginia Supreme Court to be able to, account for these, and we're getting some of them scanned. Of course, I did a VACO claim on it to be able to take care of the funding on it. So hopefully we can get all this straightened out and repaired, but it was due to the heavy ice and snow in the backup, something that, couldn't be helped. It was, it was more ice than what the units can handle. Next is on the reports is the Virginia Opiate Abatement Authority, the OAA annual report. It's in y'all's packet. Take a look. Of course, Russell County's in it. We're one of the gold standards in it. I'm going to keep knocking that around. Of course, we got our recovery houses, the male and the female. It is listed in there as one of the premiums OAA reporting. They get to utilize our recovery houses and how we operate them. They use them as a model through other counties. So take a look at that. It's a very good report. Next on the county administrative reports is ones that we had to add was, of course, the Russell County CSA and foster care program. First, Rebecca Dye, she sits on the CSA meeting committee, and she brought it to our attention too, and mine the treasurers. We're trying to get ahead of this as time as far as the budget component. So, and then we met with Ms. Tara Dye that sits on the DSS side. So we have formed a committee to take a look at this that involves the CPM team, the DSS team, the Abington Regional DSS, the attorneys, the county administrator. We talked to Central Pillion today about this program. We're going to be talking a little bit more. We've got to find a solution. Some of the solution is some of the things that what y'all have to realize is the redraw lines budget. I'm trying to pull it up here. Last year, when we financed the CSA, we increased the CSA program 64.5%. And right now, based off of what we're seeing into the CSA program, and these are the numbers here that we got from the CSA, as y'all can see, we have went from, this is the CSA program, yes. It has doubled in price. We're running about approximately $400,000 per month in expenditures, and like Mr. Eaton, Ms. Dye had said, we got some some students here that one of them's costing us $20,000 a month. Lee County has one that runs them $100,000 a month in care because of the restrictions. So we're going to have to find something of a local, a regional solution to this because it's unsustainable. It's between this program, when it first started out 5 years ago with the changes, it was running about 1.8 million. Now it's into the $4 million move. So, and of course we have a share, and these are mandated resources that once they're put into the placement homes or foster care, you will have to pay. We have approximately, how many is in foster care right now, Ms. Dye?
I think at our last meeting we had 82. But
82.
then I think we adopted 5, so we might be down in the high 70s now.
See, those are our children.
But now we have been running in the 90s.
Yes,
So,
it has came down a lot.
We've had a lot.
It has, and those are mandatory sources. So those are the budget impacts that Ms. Wallace had asked me about right now, based off projections, hard numbers, and then both Ms. Dye and Ms. Dye will attest to. We're looking at a $500,000 run over. So there's the impact right now, and that's one line item. So that's a guaranteed we will pay. You will have no reason but to pay per its mandated sources. Of course, I've also, it's not in the same topic, but I'll talk about it next, is the Russell County. One of the items that we added was the Russell County Animal Care and Adoption Center and the veterinarian school. What in the meantime, of course, everyone know that we started the animal shelter over on the property that is right across the road from Powell's. And based off of, the lot and what we were going to build and have to put in retaining ponds and environmental services and the size of the building to be able to get capacity on it, we were looking, by the time we put in all the infrastructure and the building, we were looking at a 400,000 plus project. During that time, it came to the suggestion that, and the opportunity came that from the Copper Creek School, there's the other counties within the state, there's actually two others, that have taken schools and retrofitted them into an animal shelter and animal care and schools. So right now, we're working with the IDA, and paid for by a grant, to do a engineering study to take the Copper Creek School and make it into a animal care and adoption center veterinary school in partnership with LMU. Now, this school will not only be an animal shelter that also just is a holding facility, it will also be a medical treatment facility for those animals that will reduce our costs. On the other side of the facility, in part of the programs, we will have large animal. Now, that large animal, per the veterinarians, sitting with the engineers and working in conjunction with LMU, will include cattle, horses, sheep, goats, and believe it or not, alpaca. We have alpaca that's in this county that surprised me. That surprised me during the meeting, that when the veterinarians and the schools came out and the schools, they said, this is what we need one for. So this is going to be a joint facility, and we're getting grants for it. We're also getting the IDA help. They're paying for all the engineering costs through a grant. So we're looking at utilizing that facility back again to the facility that we would build over for $400,000. Anybody that's building right now, your facility that we could have got for it was right at 4,000 square to be able to get this thing in with equipment that's needed. It was small. Just from utilizing the school and being able to retrofit it, we've been working with the Department of Health, DEQ, and the Virginia Animal Control to look at that. They thought it was a spectacular ideal because, again, two other counties had taken this and retrofitted it. It does a couple of things. It keeps the school, it keeps the community for a purpose. It doesn't let these schools go down and sit or be sold and transferred and give away. It will be used for large animals. Now, in addition, just for a simple plat, and I'll be glad in about 2 weeks, the engineer will have conceptual plans on it. On the screen, as y'all can see this facility, half of it will be the animal shelter, half of it will be the large animal school along with classrooms. So in this area right here, they're going to stage 2 barns that will be in here for the large animals. One is for the holding barns and the other one is for the treatment center. So this is what we're going to develop. All of this is already here. It's already gated. It's already fenced. It is retrofitted very, very easy. It has the water, the sewer capacity. It had a capacity for 350 students. So the water and the sewer, everything is there. VDH is confirming it. We've already got like I said, the engineers is already looking at it. ASD is. So that is what we're looking at to be able to, one, get a larger facility, get a multi-facility, and reduce the costs into the budget.
Also, we're going to have a spay and neuter center that everybody in the region will be able to utilize.
They can do rabies clinics, they can do
Yeah.
spay and neuter, and Dr. Meister is bought in on this.
Well, one of the things I want to say, Mr. Breeding,
Yeah.
kudos to Dr. Meister, because she has really dedicated her whole life to Russell County and the animals of this area. Back years ago, we made it a no-kill area shelter, and that tickled her that we did that. And thing about it is, our schools, Dr. Hayes has already left, but I've talked to Dr. Hayes about it from Southwest, about a vet tech program. They're partnering with LMU because they already have an agreements with most of those larger universities. Also, we put agriculture back in all of our schools years ago. Some of your board members remember that we did that. They have a vet tech program, just like with the housing project that's coming in. These kids will be able to go on site and work, on site with their, to be able to learn. And I'll tell you, that's the biggest thing is hands-on learning. And so I think it's going to be a good opportunity for our local students to have that hands-on learning opportunity.
I understand Dr. Meister already has some LMU interns there anyway.
She's got a direct connect with LMU.
So
She does.
she will essentially
We've just
be
kind of
running
let
the
her,
facility.
we just kind of let her run with it, because she's going to be the one that's going to be director over it.
The facility, like I said, has multiple facility use. It will be from domestic animals. Of course, the dogs and the capacity is based off of what we do. We can use everything there. Very little are we going to have to change. Of course, we got to get the new equipment by code, because once you move an animal shelter, it's almost like moving a courthouse, and you're going to go, okay, how's that? We got to take cats now. So now, that doesn't mean every cat in Russell County. Let me get that. Then please go in the book for that. No feral cats. But they have to be domesticated, be able to be treated. They have to be, adoptable. I can't catch every cat in our county. So I got a cat house. So between the domestic animals, and this is great for the LMU students, is you got domestic animals, both the cats and the dogs, and then you got the large animals. So they actually get a feel for it while they're doing their internships, which we already have interns working at our animal shelters right now. But this will give them a fit of how to get it in, because believe it or not, doing this and working with the animal control and the animal control officers, the Department of Animal Control at Richmond, we don't have large animal vets here. I mean, you just don't. You can't get them to stay. This gives us an opportunity to be able to educate them here, get them to the feel of what they want to do. We have a couple in here that is already in the program in the animal control right now with our animal shelter are Russell County students. And they have a feeling, and they were into large animals. So this could be good for us, was where I was going. So when the engineering report's done, I will represent back to the Board of Supervisors to tell y'all exactly what we got and what we can do in the future. So this gives an opportunity for this facility to be able to keep it in the community, use as an alternative purpose for a multiple purpose for an education and an animal, a community service.
And you said
Yeah.
the engineering hopefully would be done in 2 weeks?
We will have conceptuals. We just checked on it today, and they will have something for conceptuals in about 2 weeks. So that's in the report. So I don't have a motion on it, but I wanted y'all to give it, see how it works out, because we've got to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, and all the state agencies that has oversight on this, all the schools that have oversight on it, all the vets that have oversight on it, has time to look and review and reprove. Next on the county administrator request is, of course, everybody knows, we have been in a declaration of emergency. Everybody, I think the ice is still out there. We're at the point where we stay in this mode for a while. So, of course, we declared a state of emergency due to the winter storms on January 24th, 2026. This is the final resolution by the Code of Virginia that we have to have approved. I need a motion and approval of the Russell County Declaration Emergency Resolution.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Thank you all. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much for that.
Next on the county administrator reports is the Cumberland Plateau Waste Management Authority Manpower Service Agreement and addendum to the Manpower Agreement. This is the annual one. There has been no changes. Mr. Hensley sits on that board, so you want to
I'll make
speak
a
on it?
motion to approve the manpower agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you all.
Next on the county administrator reports is a request from the town of Lebanon, from the Clinch Valley Soil and Water Conservation District for the town of Lebanon for the Wellspring Foundation grant letter of support. As you see in your packet, they are wanting is to upgrade the adjacent walking trail that's over here on the side of the hill that you've seen the town has been clearing for a while. This is what they're doing with it that's in the packet, and this is part of the project, and these are things that they have conceptually put in to work on, so they're asking for a letter of support from the Russell County Board of Supervisors for the Town of Lebanon Wellspring Foundation grant. I need approval.
I'll make that motion for you, Alonzo.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second.
We got multiple seconds. Thank you all so much. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you all so much for that. I had a really good conversation with them in regards to this project, and I think it's going to make that look really nice once they get it all done.
Next on the county administrator reports is the Virginia Federation of Humane Societies Direct Animal Award 2026 MOU of Understanding, a grant for $7,500. Of course, the memorandum of understanding is between Virginia and Humane Societies and the Animal Shelter for 75 to be used for direct animal care, include bedding, animal food, medication, and supplies. And that includes any leashes, bedding, toys, etc., improvements to the animal kennels and exercise area. This is, of course, again, with our rankings, with our animal shelter, even though it ain't a great facility, we are being recognized by the Virginia Federation and the National Societies of Animal for direct care. I need an approval for $7,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, now we're down to board discussion and reminders. Mr. Andrew?
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Wallace?
I do. I want to go back to where we were talking about the CSA and the DSS and the committee that you were forming.
Yes, ma'am.
Will both Ms. Dyes be serving on that?
I have a die and a die.
Okay. I thought we were clearing that up. I just
Yeah.
needed some clarity. Thank you very much.
Ms. Dye sits on the CSA, and Ms. Dye sits on the DSS, and it takes both, the dyes are on it. Thank you.
Watch out.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brady?
I really don't have anything other than thank you for the resolutions on VMI. It's been a sore spot in every alumni's. If I could read all the responses to everything that's been on Facebook and the calls that I've gotten, the emails that I've gotten, it's just, they're trying to do away with an old institution that was founded in 1839. And I cannot think of another institution anywhere where inclusion is so basic. When you enter into the institute, they break you down in the freshman class. It doesn't matter who your mama was, who your daddy is, how much money they had. You're a rat. And you stay that way, and they build up the class unity that way. They bring you up together, and they bring you up as in a spirit of brother rats is what you're called. And I assume sister rats now. But, you know, they bring you up as a class, and that unity is kept as you advance through the ranking system as fourth classman, which is a freshman, the third is sophomore, and so on. First classman would be a senior. So thank you for helping try to maintain what is a great old institution.
Thank you. Ms. Dye?
No, just make sure, Lonzo, that when you have your engineer, that you include Mr. Andrew with the drawings and any meetings that y'all have, because that's his district, and he needs to see everything that's going to be going on down there. Y'all meet 1 minute, he better be included.
He's in there into the goat part.
Sheep.
We've got him as a consultant.
Sheep.
Sheep and goats, cattle.
Okay, if everybody's heart and mind is clear, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you all, and thank everybody for coming.